Hello friends, today in this tutorial we will be building a chatting kind of an application. So this will be a real-time chatting application with room support using socket.io. So basically this is the interface of the chatting application you can see on your screen out there. So it contains two feeds out there. Either you can enter the username of you to enter the chat, and secondly you need to enter the room ID. So this room can be anything. We will be typing it inside string characters. Let me enter a username, let's suppose John, and let me enter a room called as programming. So this is a username John which is trying to enter the chat room, and then which the room name is programming. And if I click join chat, you can now see, guys, this is the actual chat room out there. And you can now see there is a welcome message which is sent by the admin of the chat at 10:23 p.m. So this is the current time. So we are fetching the current time using the moment library inside this. So all this chatting application, guys, we are building it inside Node.js and Express. So this is your interface of chatting. This is your room name, which is programming, and these are the users which are currently there inside this room. So you can also see in the address bar, username is John and room is programming. So let's suppose I copy this once again, I open it in a new window. So this is real-time socket.io. So this is another socket. This is one socket. This is one person join in. Let's suppose I enter here David. So David is also joining the same room, which is programming. Click join chat. So what will happen, guys? So in the previous window of John, if you see, David has joined the chat. You can now see 10:23 p.m. So get a simple alert message that some other user has joined the chat. So inside the users panel, you will see John David has been entered inside the room, which is programming. So if let's suppose if I leave this room here, if David leaves the room here, you will see a alert box. Are you sure you want to leave the chat room? I will say okay. And now you will also get a notification here that David has left the chat with the current time here, 10:24. And if I enter the messages here, guys, I also get the simple scroll bar here. If you see here, we also get a nice little scroll bar. As you type the messages, the scroll bar will automatically scroll down. So let's suppose I am scrolling up here. I am in this position. And if I try to enter the message, it will automatically scroll down. So this is the basic need for every chatting application, that your scroll bar should automatically go down whenever you type the message and send it. So this is the thing, guys. You can see the username, the actual time, and the actual message. So we haven't implemented the image functionality. It is just a text chatting kind of an application. Here you can even only send the text, not images. So we can join in a particular room. So Socket.io does offer the functionality of a particular room support. So once again, let's suppose I join in a brand new room here, localhost 3000. And let's suppose there is a user called as Kane, and he want to join in room cricket room. Click join chat. So what will happen, guys? This is brand new room. This is not related to programming room here. So there will be no notification. This username will be entirely be present inside a different room. So there you will not get any sort of notification. So this is entirely two rooms out there. So in this case, guys, you can build out unlimited number of rooms, and you can deploy this application live on the internet so that people can join, and multiple rooms, they can create multiple groups, rooms, anything you can call it. In WhatsApp also we have this functionality that you can create unlimited rooms, unlimited groups out there, and people can chat in different groups and rooms. So this is a similar functionality in socket.io. We call this as rooms. And if you see that socket.io is a very real-time library which is available for JavaScript, and this is a bi-directional communication which is happening between the client and the server. So we are exchanging information between the client and the server. So this is bi-directional protocol. So this is their official website. It has got a nice little documentation. So you should definitely invest some time in learning this framework if you haven't heard about this. So basically, guys, we are using this socket.io, and also we are using this moment.js library, which is for calculating the current time. This is a date library for JavaScript. So we are using this moment library as well. And also we are using the Express framework, guys, for building out the Node.js, expressjs.com. This is our Node.js framework, minimalistic framework for Node.js. So I have written complete blog post, guys, regarding this tutorial. So you can find this blog post in the description of this blog post. So step-by-step instruction I have given in with all the full source code, HTML, CSS, and all the JavaScript code. I have explained it in pure detail. So please hit that like button, subscribe the channel, and also visit the description of this blog post. Let me give this blog post in the live chat. Some comments are there. Can multiple people join room cricket? Yeah, definitely you can join unlimited members inside the group. There is no restriction out there that you can even only join 10 members. So let's suppose, let me show you an example. And if I type here localhost 3000, this is one window. Let me open a new incognito window, and localhost 3000. Let me open a new window once again, new incognito window, localhost 3000. So as you can see, there are three windows out there. Let me make it side by side. So these are three windows out there. So you can just treat it three different users logging it from different computers around the globe. So I'm just taking the same example which is there. So these are three different connections, three different people which are logging it in the same application. So this is the chatting application. Here you enter John, and let's suppose programming is my room. Click join chat. You can see this is the room here. One person is there. If I enter a second person here, which is David, and programming room, same room we are accessing, you can see David has joined the chat. So let's suppose here if I say Kane, same room programming. So you can see Kane has joined the chat. Kane has joined the chat. So if I enter the message in real time, you will see all the messages will be delivered in all the windows. This is real time synchronization. So for this, for storing these messages, guys, we are not using any sort of database. It is just be stored inside an array. So let's suppose if I send this message, David, you can now see automatically all the messages will be sent right here. You can now see. So you can also see it is real time, it is synchronization, and I think it's a very good chatting application. Multiple people can join and chat at the same time, and you can now see. So we will try to build this functionality, guys, from scratch. So let's start building this application. So please hit that like button, subscribe the channel as well if you're watching it for the very first time. So right here, guys, we will go to the projects directory, and here I will create a new project, brand new project, which is socket room, and cd into this project. Open this inside Visual Studio Code text editor, and first of all let me stop this server, guys, which is running on localhost 3000, and close this window. And first of all, guys, we need to initialize the package.json file. So npm init dash wise, so with the default options, so it will create this package.json file. And then we need to install these three dependencies, guys. Express is our web framework, and then we also need to install moment is the date library, date and time library, and also we need to install socket.io. So these three libraries are needed for this project, guys. So simply install this library, and after installation, basically it will add this inside package.json file. You will now see express, moment, and socket.io. So after this, guys, we need to simply make the index.js file, which is a starting point of the application. And here, first of all, guys, what we need to do is that we need to simply start our Express server. So we need to require Express and make a simple new Express app. And then we also need to instantiate our HTTP server, guys. So in socket.io, this is the approach that we follow. So we will be requiring this HTTP module, which is a built-in module, and basically we will create a server, HTTP server. So with the help of HTTP create server. So here in this argument, we will pass our Express application like this. So this will be listening on port number 3000. So if I say here server dot listen, so we will pass the port number, and in the callback function we will say that app is listening on port 3000. So now guys, basically if you reload the application, nodemon index.js, so you will see app is listening on port 3000. Why we did that? Why we did import this HTTP? For two reasons. We first of all need to build out our socket.io, and for this socket.io we need to import this library which we have installed, which is socket.io. And also guys, we need to create a new variable io, which is socket.io, and here we need to pass our server like this. We need to pass this reference, which is the HTTP server, to this socket.io like this. And here guys, we need to create a public folder to serve all the assets, images, CSS files and JavaScript file. So we need to make this folder static folder. So we will be passing a middleware function line, which is express.static. And for this guys, we will also need the path module, which is a built-in module of Express.js. So sorry, in Node.js, so simply include path module, and here we will use this path.join method, and we will simply put the full address directory name, and in the second argument we will put the public directory. So with this line of code guys, we have made this public directory as static, so all the files which will be stored inside this will be directly accessible. So this public directory is static. So now this input output is our socket.io variable guys. So here we can listen for various events by using the on method. And let's suppose a new socket is connected, a new user is connected. So this will be firing this event, which is connection, and this socket will be contained inside this parentheses. So socket here represents the actual user guys, which will be connecting to the application. There can be hundreds and millions of sockets connecting at the same time, chatting simultaneously. So this socket represents an actual user which is chatting inside the application. So this has various properties. Socket.io, this has socket.id field. So every socket has a unique ID field attached to it. So we will be using this ID as well. So first of all, guys, what we need to do is that we need to create a simple public folder index.html, and basically write a simple template here. And we will simply say that socket.io chat in Node.js. So right here guys, we need to include the CDN for socket.io. So socket.io, as you all know, has a CDN library. So just write here socket.io CDN, and you will now just have this CDN here. You can use any CDN of your choice, totally depends upon you. You can let me use this CDN. So simply paste it here inside the script tag source, paste it. So this is your socket.io CDN guys, we are copy pasting it, and now we just need to include the main.js, which will be present inside the JS folder. So just simply make a JS folder, and inside this we will store main.js. So right here guys, we will simply initialize our socket.io. We just be sending a simple event. So inside this event, let me just show you how it is done. So basically, now to initialize this socket.io library guys, we need to write a simple line of code, which is socket, and we need to call this io. That's it. If you call like this guys, basically, so what it will do is that basically whenever you are connected here, we will be sending out a simple event. So we can just emit a event to the user, to the client. So what we can do is that we can simply say socket.emit, and here we will see welcome message. So this is a name of the event. You can call it anything. We will be also be passing a data field as well. So this will be a simple message, welcome to the chat like this. So now we need to receive this event, guys, inside main.js. So what we can say, we can socket.on welcome message, and then the data which is received, and simply we can console log data. That's it. So whenever you are connected, guys, to the application, so basically if I type here localhost 3000, it is saying that localhost 3000 cannot get it. What is the problem? Let me see. So it is stored inside the public folder, and let me write this line once again. This is very important line, guys. Basically this is making this directory as static, so that when we load the page, so what it's saying that localhost 3000, I think we haven't started this application. App is started. So once again start this. So now you can see the app has started, and in the console you will see welcome to the chat. And let's suppose if I open this window once again for the second time, and once again open the console, you will see welcome to the chat. And you can even do reverse as well, guys. This is a bidirectional protocol, so you can even send out messages from the client to the server as well. So socket.emit, we will say connection, we can simply say connected, and we can pass a message, the client connected. So inside index.js, so whenever a new client is connected, we can simply listen on that socket.on, which is the name of the event, which was, if you see, connected. And then we can simply log the message in the console. So console log data. So if you just do it like this, basically, if you reload the application, in the console, you will see the client connected. And if you open it for the second time, you can now see the client connected for the second time. And this client, guys, they have various properties out there. So as I already told you, each socket has a unique identifier, which is you can say socket.io id connected. So this is unique for every socket. This is, you can treat it as a primary key. So if I open it this time from here, you will now see these are bunch of clients which are connected. These are unique IDs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So every client, every browser window that you open, it assigns a unique ID to it. So this is the model actual socket.io library, which is used for real-time applications. So now, guys, inside this connection variable, what we need to do is that now we need to write our index.html file. Inside that file, basically we need to import our link tag. So we are also using some bootstrap here. So after the title, paste it. So this is there in my blog post. So simply paste it. This is just a static bootstrap CDN. And then we are also importing the CSS file, guys. We will write inside our CSS folder. So just make a CSS folder, and right here you need to make a style.css file. Here you will write all the style sheet code for your application. So after this, guys, this is just a simple HTML code here, which is there. So we will have a join container class, and we have a simple header which will have a simple class to it of join header. So what can I do is that, guys, we can simply copy paste all the CSS code, as this video is not about CSS. So you can get all the source code in the description of the blog post. So I can simply copy paste the CSS. This will also save time. So simply paste it. So as you now see, guys, basically we have this simple heading out there, which is this heading. And if you We can write the name of the chat application inside this. So we can have a h1 tag. So here we can simply put a simple icon, FA smile. So we are using font awesome icon CDN also. So if you say this is a smiley icon here, if you refresh it, we can simply name the app, which is chat code. So just refresh it. You will now see. This is the name of the application here. This is just a basic HTML, guys, so I will not waste the time. So let me copy paste it. So after this, we will have simple two input fields out there after the header. So let me paste it here. So this will be for username and room. And if you refresh it, you will now see we have the username input field and a room input field and a button, simple button. So if you click this button, you will be able to join into the chat. So here you need to enter the username and the room name. So these are, as you can see, these are two input fields. So we have given ID to it of username, ID of room. And then we have a simple button to submit the form. So by default, it will be a get request. You will see the action attribute is going to chat.html. So if I click this button, enter the username, room name. So this chat.html is not found. So we need to create this file in the same directory, public directory, chat.html. So right here also, guys, this will be the actual chat page, chat.html. So inside the chat window, guys, we will have the basic structure. Let me explain you what is happening here. So let me also paste this HTML, which is very simple HTML, guys. You will understand what is happening here. So basically, inside this chat field out there, if you now go to it, you will now see I have purposely just put the random data here, placeholder data. Later on, we will dynamically do this process whenever the data will be coming dynamically. By default, you will see this is a username name, this is the time here, this is the actual message, this is the leave room button. If you click this, you will be redirected to the home page. So this is the actual bare bone structure which is there for the app. Obviously, these messages are not correct. We need to connect it to a specific room. So these are the list of users which will be displayed at the end of the app. This is actual room name, this is actual messages, this is actual scroll bar. If you see, obviously the scroll bar is not happening, this input field is not happening whenever we enter the message here. We need to write some JavaScript code for that. So this is actual structure. You will see that. You will now see this is the list of users. We are using UL tag here for this, and these are the chat messages. This is a single message. Here we are displaying the time, the username, the actual message, like this. And then we have a simple input field out there. So here we will enter your message here, and like this ID we have given, which is message. And then we have a simple button to send this message. And here we are including again this JavaScript file, guys, which we have also included this right here also. So now we just need to make this main.js file here. So first of all, inside this JavaScript file, guys, we need to get all the references of all the elements here. So right here at the very top, we will say const chat form. So this is we can get element by ID. We have given this ID in the HTML. And secondly, in order to list out the various messages, we have given this class to each and every messages div here, which is chat messages, and room name, which is the input field where we can enter the room name. So we need to get the reference of that input field, document dot get element by ID, room name, and then we need to get the user list, which is document dot get element by ID, which is users, which is the list where the users will be displayed. So we have got references to all the elements, guys, which are there in the DOM. So after this, guys, we need to get we need to get access whenever, if you go to the home page, if you enter the room name and the username. Let's suppose I write John here and enter the room name such as JavaScript. And if I click join chat, you will now see in the query parameter, we have these two variables out there, username and John. So we need to get access to these two variables so that we can obviously join the correct room and the correct username. So for getting this access, guys, there is a specific library which is available in JavaScript, which is called as query string. If you just write here query string.js and just type here query string CDN, and this is the library which actually parses all the information from the browser URL. So you just need a CDN for this. So right here inside your chat.html, simply paste this script source, paste the CDN like this, and now go to your main.js. So now we have got access to the library. We will simply extract this username and the room name, and this username and room, and this will be qs.parse, and we will parse this from the window.location.search. This is a property, and here we, in the second argument, we need to pass this option, guys, which is ignore query prefix. So if you don't pass this option, guys, this needs to be passed to true. So this is passed because we don't need these question mark, this ampersand sign here and sign equal to sign. We only need the values, so that's why we are ignoring it. So now if you console log the username and room name, we will get access to all these two things. So if I just refresh it, let's suppose go to the home page, go to inspect element, go to console here. If I write here John, room I write here programming, click join chat. So you will now see, guys, it is saying require is not defined, QS is not defined. Sorry, let me see what is the problem. Where require, where we have written required statement, let me see, index.js. Oh, sorry, index.js. So this is, I think this is chat.html. We have included the CDN for this. Main.js on line number 6, QS is not defined. I think you can follow my blog post, guys. I have given this CDN because I think there is a problem in including the CDN. So if you go to the chat.html file here, so just move to the chat.html file, you will find the correct CDN which is to be required. So you just need to require the correct CDN. So make sure that you include the correct CDN. So right here, if you see inside chat.html, yeah, this is the CDN that you will need to require, which is powered by Cloudflare. So simply include this. So again, paste it here. And again, if you see inside main.js, location.search, this is the code here. If I say username and room, qs.parse location search, and format this. So again, restart your application, and if you now see here, basically just refresh it, guys. Sometimes it can create problems. So enter the username and room name. So now you can see both these things are getting, you can now see this is a username, this is a room. If I change these values, let's suppose I change the username to John, and if I change the room to programming, so you can now see all the values are the username is fetched, which is John, and the room name is also fetched, which is programming. So in this way, guys, you can extract any sort of query parameter using this library. It's a very awesome library. You should definitely use it whenever you need to do this. So after this, guys, basically we will inform the client server side that basically we need this username and this room. So we will use the emit method once again to emit the events back to the server side. We will inform the server, and this will be name of the event will be join room. So we are joining the room with these details. So we will pass the details in an object. We will pass the username and we will pass the actual room. That's it. This is a shorthand symbol, guys. You can also write in longer form like this, but this is the actual short form. So we are passing these two details out there, username and room. This is the name of the event. Now we need to catch this event. So we will simply say that socket dot on join room, and this information will be there inside your basically, guys, uh, we will be extracting this information username comma room. So basically this will be an arrow function, and right here we are catching this information. So what we can say, we can console log this, let's suppose username, and console log the room name. So if you do like this, guys, so whatever room name that you chooses here, if you go to your localhost 3000, let's suppose I choose a name John and enter a room which is programming, click join chat. In the console you will see so let me see here, click join chat. So it is saying that IO is not defined. If you see, guys, socket dot on join room. So if I see uh, console log any message that I print here, let me print any message here. Click join chat. So the message is not printing out, guys. Let me see why it is happening. If you see, we are sending out this event from this client side. If you see in the main.js, we are sending this event socket.emit. If you closely look here, so this is, so let me refresh this application once again, start this application localhost 3000. uh, you can see reference error, IO is not defined. I think, guys, you need to this is coming because of two reasons, because we have used the wrong socket.io CDN. So make sure that you use the same CDN which is used in the application. I have given this CDN here. This is the CDN that you need to use. So obviously I am using the different one, so I need to replace it. So go to your index.html and don't use this Cloudflare CDN. Simply use this one. This is your CDN here, slash socket.io slash socket.io js. So simply use it now, and now if you refresh it, I think this CDN problem is a lot of it can create problems. So now if you select your username, let's suppose Geeky Gautam programming, and you will see this information. main.js const socket io. I think, guys, what we need to do is that we need to shift this line at the very top. I think this is creating a problem here. So I think let me write inside this file. So this is perfectly running this application. So let me just do it from this folder because I don't know why it is not working, but we can do like this. So this application, let me start this. So I can open this inside reveal in file explorer. Let me open this application nodemon index.js. So you will now see app is listening on port 3000. So inside main.js, guys, first of all, what we need to do is that we need to get all the references of all the elements. So we have done this, and also we need to extract the username and the room name. We have using this library query string, and then we need to emit this information back to the server side. So you can see username and room. So we need to catch this information in the index.js. So we will simply say that socket.on, and event name is join room, and we will be extracting the username and the room, and just we will be consoling log the username and the room. So what will happen now, guys, basically if you now open your application, if you type a username and room, click on join chat, so you will see all this information will be displayed in the console. So I think that was why what it was previously was not working. I think it was just a typing mistake or anything else. Let's suppose if I write here John and programming, click on join chat. So this information will be displayed here if you see John and programming. So now we are successfully sending out the username and the room name. So what we need to do is that basically we need to move to the next step. And inside this, guys, we need to create a new folder which will be called as utils. So you need to create, let me go to the, let me close this one. We already have this utils folder. Let me create this once again. So this will obviously hold some useful methods, guys, which will be there. So this is entirely different folder. Just create utils, and inside this you will need to create users.js. So here you will basically store all your users. So obviously we will not be using database. So we will be simply be using a local array here. So whenever you stop your application, all your data will be lost. So here we will define some methods, user join. So here we will expect the ID, username, and the actual room ID. These three information will be passed to this function. And we will create a new object which will hold these ID, username, and room. This is an object. We will push this into the actual array, which is users, like this. And then we will return the actual user, which is inserted like this. We will have three properties, ID, username, and room. And this will add the user. Now to get a current user information, we will declare a function which is get current user by its ID. So we will pass the ID like this. So we will return the users dot find method. We will use the find method, and we will find the user which ID is equal to the past ID, triple equal to ID. That's it. So this will get the current user information by using its ID like this. So now we will, whenever the user leaves the chat, guys, we need to delete this user from the array. So basically we will say user leave. So it will have its ID once again. So with the help of this ID, first of all, we will simply say we will filter the index. We will find out the index number which user has left the chat with the help of this high order function, which is find index. And here basically we will compare for each user the ID. We will once again we'll find out the index number, and here we will compare if index is not equal to -1. In that case, a user is present, and then we will simply return that user.splice index 1 0. That's it. So we will be returning that user which is deleted from this array. That's it. And now in order to get the total number of users which are present in a particular room, so what we can simply say, this is very simple, one liner function. So get room users, and we will pass the room, actual room, and this will be a simple method, guys, users.filter. And for each uh, user we will just compare the room name. So if the user.room is equal to the room which is passed, so we will return the number of users, guys. Basically here this will return out the actual array of objects which will have this room ID attached to it. Now we need to simply export these methods, guys. So module.exports user join, user leave, and get current user, and get room users. So we are exporting these four methods which we have defined right here. And also, guys, we need to make a second file which will for the messages. So as you see in the resultant application, basically your messages are formatted. For this, we will need to require the moment library. So we need to require moment, and we will be defining a simple method which will be format message. So this will expect two variables, username and the actual text. And here from this we need to pass an object, guys, which will have three properties: username, text, and the actual time. I, time, and the time will be equal to moment. There is a method out there inside this library which is format, and here we need to provide the format 24 hours. So this is hour colon minute, and then either it can be AM or PM like this. So this will return this object from this method, and now we just need to export this module.exports format message. That's it. So these are the two files which are there in the utils folder. Just write this, guys. So now inside your index.js, now we need to just import these two files, guys. So we just need to import this. So const user, sorry, we need to import this from uh, utils folder, and inside this we have users. So we just need to import these four methods: user leave, get current user, and get room users like this. Also we need to import the second method which is format message, and this will be imported from again the utils folder, and there we have this messages.js. That's it. So after this, guys, basically now what we need to do is that, guys, basically whenever someone enters for the very first time inside socket.ion, whenever they join the room, we need to welcome them with a welcome message. For that, we can simply first of all need to join the room. So we will simply say, we will call the method which is user join, and here we need to pass three information here inside this function, which is an object. Here we will pass here. First of all, we will pass the ID, which will be socket.id. Secondly, we will pass the username, and thirdly, we will pass the room name. That's it. So these are the three variables we will pass here. So each socket will be having its own ID attached to it. So there is some kind of error which is there. Let me see. Sorry, this is not an object. This is a simple argument that we need to pass here. So first will be socket.id, username, and the actual room name. That's it. So we are passing these three information, guys. So there is a method out there of in socket, the join method. So this is used to join a particular room. So we will pass the user.room. That's it. So this returns an object as you see inside utils.users, guys. So this returns the newly created object. So these have three properties: ID, username, and room. So we are using the actual room, which is their username. So we are joining the room. So we need to show a welcome message here to the user. To show that welcome message, we will emit out a event, which will be actual message. So we will use the format message. We will configure a bot name, guys. So right here, you can configure a bot name. You can change this to, let's suppose, coding Shiksha, my channel name, which is, so bot name will be there, and the actual message, welcome to chat. You can call this anything, chat code. This is your actual message. That's it. So now we need to catch this event, guys, inside our main.js. We will simply need to catch this socket.on message. So here, as you can see, we are sending out this data here. So this will be having this message. So we need to show this message to the user. So what we can do is that basically we can call a simple method here which will output this message on the DOM. So output message, this will be a custom function we need to create. We'll pass the argument, the message. So we need to create this method, guys, output message. So inside this will be very simple. Basically, we need to create a simple dynamic div, document.create element. So we'll create a new div element and basically add a dynamic class. Internet connection was lost, guys, so I'm again back here. So we'll see we are adding these class meta to the paragraph tag, and then we are manipulating the inner text property of this paragraph, which is equal to the actual username, message.username. And also the inner HTML will be concatenating it, plus is equal to, and here inside backtick symbol we will write inside the span tag, we will write your actual message. So this will be the actual message dot time. So we will be putting the time of the message, and here we will be appending this div, guys. So append child, we will say paragraph, and then we will be simply be creating another paragraph element, document.create element, paragraph, and then we will be adding this simple text class, text CSS class like this. And for this inner text, we will be making to inner text will be equal to the message.text property, text property like this, message.text. And after this, guys, we will be appending the child, this paragraph, to the div element. And lastly, we will be appending this div, document.query selector. So for each message, we have defined a class to it, so which is chat messages. We will be appending this append child, this div here, newly created div. That's it. So if you just refresh your application, guys, so basically if you enter a username, enter a room name, click join chat. So basically what will happen, let me see. So it is chat messages append child. I think we need to refresh the application for this. So just refresh it. So it is saying room name is not defined. Index.js line number 26. Index.js line number 26. Room name. Sorry, this is room, not room name. So again, start the application, guys. So enter the username, enter room name. So you will see now you're having this welcome message, guys, which is displayed here. This is the name of the bot, which is coding Shiksha. This is the time here, which is 11:13 p.m. There needs to be a space out there. Let me fix this. So we need to have some spacing out there. So right here we can fix this. So we can add some spacing here like this. So there is some space out there. You can see welcome to chat code. So now if you enter this message here, guys, and enter it, it should display right here inside this text area. So what we can do is that basically uh, we can add basically a event handler. So whenever we basically, but before that, guys, inside your index.js, after you put a welcome message, we also need to basically tell other users which are connected in the chat that a new user is connected. For doing that purpose, we will be broadcasting a simple event. For broadcasting it, guys, there is a special method which is there in socket.io, which is socket.broadcast. There is a method broadcast dot to. So here we'll be using the to method, guys. So this will only broadcast to a specific room. So this will be user.room, and we will be emitting an event out there. So this will not be broadcasted to all the people. This will only be broadcasted to the people which are there inside this specific room. So we are emitting a message event here, again the message event, and again we will use the same method format message, and this will be again be provided by the same bot we have configured, which is bot name. And here we can simply inside backtick symbol we can simply say user.username has joined the chat. That's it. So basically we are telling all the other users which are connected to the chat, this will not be sent to the client which are just connected. This will only be this will be sent to all the users which are there previously in the chat, that this new username has connected to the chat. So let me show you what happens right now. So we are sending the same message here. So this basically inside main.js, this will get called once again socket.on message. This will once again call this method's output message. So if you refresh it now, so let's suppose we take open this once again, enter the username Geeky Gautam programming. So this message will not be displayed here to the connected client, but it will be displayed to all the clients which are previously connected. So let's suppose I open this in a new window, and let's suppose a new user connected, John, in the same room. So now in the previous one, you will see John has joined the chat. You can now see John has joined the chat. And similarly, if I click this leave room, guys, I need to say implement the same functionality. When I leave this room, when I go to the home page, we need to redirect the user to the home page and also tell here that John has left the chat. So for that, we will be implementing a very simple functionality. But before that, uh, we also need to display the room name here and the actual users which are connected in this room, so which are displayed. So we need to display this information also here. So first of all, hit the like button, guys, subscribe the channel as well. So basically we need to display this information, the room name and the actual users which are there inside the chat. So inside your basically index.js, we need to send out a simple event to all the users, not to all the users. In order to send out an event, we use input output io dot to the specific room here, which is user.room. So this will only be sent to this specific room to all the clients. Now we will emit out an event here, which will be room users. So how many users are present right here, guys? So in the second argument, you will pass out the information. The room will be equal to user.room, and the users will be equal to get room users. We will be using this method, and we will pass the user room as an argument like this. So this basically this function will be getting called, guys. You can see we have already written this function, which will calculate the number of users which are present inside this specific room, and like this. So basically we are emitting this event out there, which is room users. So now we need to tackle this inside main.js. So basically inside your main.js, we need to catch this event. So we will simply say socket.on room users like this. So this information will be there inside. You can now see we will be extracting this information, which is room and the actual users. This will be an arrow function. So now we need to display it on the screen, guys, right here in the sidebar section, the actual room and the number of users which are present inside the room. So for doing this, guys, it's very easy. We will first of all declare this to custom function, which is output room name, which will get the actual room. We will pass the actual room name and output users, and we will pass the users as an argument. So we will define these two functions, which is output room name, and we will pass the room here as an argument. And this is very easy, guys. We will use the room name reference we have already got at the top here, document.getElementById. So we will simply change the inner text property of it, and we will simply print out the room here. If you just refresh it now, the room is printed out, which is programming. And now we need to print out the number of users as well. So we'll say output users. So users are passed here. And right here inside this, guys, we will be basically be saying that users list. Sorry, we will first of all clear out users list inner HTML to nothing. So here the users list will be there. You can see we will first of all clear out it, make it empty, and then we will use the for each loop here. For each user, we will display this li element here. We will create this element dynamically by using create element, and then we need to manipulate the inner text of this. Inner text will be equal to user.username, and user list we will append this append child li. That's it. And now if you refresh it, guys, your users will be displayed. One user, only one users are present right here. If I try to change the user here, Geeky Gautam 2, so now two users will be present inside the specific room here, programming. You can now see. You can add unlimited users, totally up to you how many users you want to have. You can deploy this application live on internet. So every time people join here, you will get a notification Geeky Gautam has joined the chat, alongside with you can write your messages also. So this is all already done, guys. Now we need to simply basically move to the next section, which is whenever the user leaves the chat. So let's suppose if I click this leave chat room here, so already this application is complete. So basically whenever user click on this button that they want to leave the room, so what will happen now? I need to tell the user that I need to leave the chat. So when I click this button, guys, so what will happen? So first of all, hit the like button, so subscribe the channel. So basically here, guys, inside your main.js, if you see, The blog post, if you see the blog post, guys, you will now see, yeah, this is the actual code that you need to write. Basically, you need to first of all bind a on click to the event of this leave button. So whenever you click this leave room button, we need to bind the on click event handler inside our main.js. So we already got the button. If you see leave button, we I think first of all we need to get the event to the name. Sorry, we need to attach event listener to the leave room button. So document.getElement by ID. So the ID is simply, guys, leave button, and we'll be adding a simple event listener to it. Add event listener. So when we click this button, what should happen? So this function, arrow function, will execute. So first of all, we will simply show a simple alert box to the user that are you sure that you want to leave the room? Confirm message, which is a built-in message. Are you sure you want to leave the room? And based upon the answer, guys, if the user has selected yes, then this value will be true. And in that case, we will redirect the user to the home page. And whenever they do that, this automatically fires an event inside disconnect event inside socket.io. So if I just do it right here, if I click this button, click this, you can now see, are you sure you want to leave the room? Click OK, you will be redirected to the home page. So whenever that happens, guys, it automatically fires an event inside your index.js, which is the disconnect event. So this will be there outside here. So this is one event, socket.io, whenever the user has joined the room. So this is entirely in the different room, different event, which is disconnect event. So whenever they are leaving the room. So this is one event out there. So the event name is socket.on disconnect. So whenever they are disconnected, basically what we can do is that we can remove them from the users array. This is a callback function. This will automatically occurs. We will first of all get the user which has just chosen to leave. We'll call the user leave method, and we will pass the ID of the user socket.id, and every socket has a unique ID attached to it. So if the user is found, then in that case we will simply need to inform to all the users that they have left the chat. So we will simply say input to socket, sorry, user.room. This will only be emitted to the only that specific room. So we will emit a message here, again a message event. So this time we will simply say that they have left the chat. So inside the second we will use format message, and here we will simply again use the simple bot name, and this will be user.username, user.username has left the chat. That's it. And after this, guys, we also need to delete it from the array as well. So input to that specific room, we need to emit out again this room users, and this time we need to call a method here. Room will be user.room, and the actual users will be updated. So this time we will call get room users once again, and user.room. That's it. So here we are calling first of all user leave. Basically this function will execute, which is present inside here, user leave. This will disconnect the user. It will remove this user from the array here. It will splice it and return that removed array, removed user. And then we are getting the number of users which are present. So get number of users which are present inside the room, like this. So this is the thing, guys. So basically what you will see right here, if you go to the home page here, It is saying cannot read properties of room. Line number 51. User.room. Oh, sorry, this needs to be present, I think, in the same block here. Sorry, this needs to be in the same block, if block. Just paste it here like this. So now your app is listening on port 3000. So just open two windows out there. So let's suppose you have we have Geeky Gautam. He's in programming room, and let's suppose we have John. It is also in same room. So two users are present, and if I click here leave room, if I leave room here, which is Geeky Gautam here, this notification will be sent here. John has left the chat. You will see John has left the chat. Only one user is present right here. So this is the leave room is also working perfectly, guys. Now we simply need to, if I write some messages here, it should send here and it will be displayed. So as I click the send button, I need to display the messages. So what we can do is that, guys, we will simply bind a simple on click. If you follow my blog post, guys, you will get all the source code. Basically, whenever you click this, mm, this is the full, let me see, main dot. And also we need to write this line, guys. So whenever you write this, we need to also scroll up the scroll bar as well. So right here, whenever you are inside your main.js, output the message and also change the scroll height as well, like this. So if you see, I have in the last, sorry, at the bottom of the blog post, I have also given the GitHub repository. So here you will find all the source code. So I think, yes, yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, this is the code, guys. You can now see. Whenever we submit, basically click this submit button here. Whenever we click this submit button, we need to, let me write a message here. Whenever we click this send button, we need to show this message. So for that, we need to go to your main.js file and simply you need to paste this code. So basically this is simply chat form dot add event listener. So whenever we submitting the form, e dot prevent default to catch, so prevent the auto submission of the form. Then we are getting the actual message. This is e dot target dot elements dot message dot value. Then we are trimming the message, removing unnecessary spaces. Then we are checking if message is true. Then over we are returning it. And socket dot emit, we are emitting a chat message, and then we are removing the, basically we are removing, resetting the value and also focusing upon that. If you refresh it now, enter a message. So we need to create that, basically that, yes, sending out this event which is chat message. So here we need to catch this event right here, basically inside your index.js. We need to catch this event. If you see my blog post, I have written this code here, chat message. So this will be very simple, two lines of code here basically. So this needs to be outside join room. So we are not joining the room, we are simply sending a chat message. So this will be socket.on chat message. We will be getting the actual message. So this is the we will be calculating what is the current user. So we'll be calculating using get current user. So if you see, we have defined this method. So it will, based upon the ID, it will return you the user like this. You will get the actual user reference, and now basically to that all the users, we will send out this message. We will emit this event message, format message, user.username message. So if you now refresh your application now, if you join a room, click a message, you can now see Kiki Gautam. You can send out unlimited number of messages, and the scroll bar you will also see on the right hand side. It is also moving it in the correct scenario. You can now see. I will update my blog post, guys, because I forgot to include this code. You can now see. So this is the nice real-time application, guys, we have developed. So please hit that like button, subscribe the channel as well if you're watched the full tutorial. If you have any sort of doubt, you can also comment on this video, and I will be seeing you in the next video.